You don't need to be entrepreneur. In social media, any success gentleman, he will tell you, I started with $200 in my pocket. I started with $300 in my pocket. I started from the car. I started from the garage. It gives you the motivation. You need to find and search the proper Marvel team. Superman, Spider-Man, and Batman. You don't need the 10 million soldiers. You just need the 3. For my son and my daughter, I never tell them, go for entrepreneurship. Whatever you have the way to be succeeded, do it. And you doesn't need to be an entrepreneur to do that.
Haitham has had an impressive career spanning major consumer electronics brands. He's worked on both the retail and production sides of consumer electronics as well. He's an Alpha CEO, Forbes Business Council Member, and the driving force behind Riversong, a tech brand that's made its mark in over 30 countries. You're building a tech company at the end of the day. And when it comes to building tech companies, means funding, investments, all these big things. How did you manage that?
When I started,
Riversong, innovation inspired. We are committed to integrating innovation, intelligence, and aesthetics into our products to bring global customers a more convenient and connected smart life.
Welcome back, Alpha Squad, to a new inspiring episode of the Alpha Talks show, the #1 fastest growing show in the region. Today is a special one because I'm not only bringing you an inspiring Alpha entrepreneur, but also someone very close to me, my best friend and business partner. He's an Alpha CEO, Forbes Business Council Member, and the driving force behind Riversong, a tech brand that's made its mark in over 30 countries. Haitham has had an impressive career spanning major consumer electronics brands. He's worked on both the retail and production sides of consumer electronics as well, giving him a deep understanding of the entire value chain from manufacturing to consumer hands. Please join me in welcoming the inspiring Haitham Kalakesh to the Alpha Talk show. It's a pleasure to have you. It's an honor, my brother, my friend, and we're gonna have a big episode that I believe is gonna be super authentic for people to see a lot of things that the social media or the videos that they see doesn't resemble it so much. So I'm looking forward to it.
thank you so much, Seif, and thank you for the welcome and the long introduction.
You deserve more.
I'm not a big fan with this kind of words and introduction, but I see you every day, and I believe that also your YouTube channel is going to be massively in the next 5 years on that.
Inshallah, inshallah. It's a pleasure to have you. And it's going to be a fun episode because it's going to be super authentic.
Yeah,
so Haitham, when we start, we have a nugget question in the show that says, once we publish the episode, people will see the thumbnail, the title, the graphics, and they will think it's extremely interesting episode. What can you promise them today to gain if they gave us their time?
Let's say it very short answer. We'll give them the unpolished truth behind the scenes where not everything is success, because all social media here is always about the success stories and with no, let's say, the ugly truth.
True.
So I'm here to give you the gray, the black days,
True.
The rainy days, so no white days.
Ooh, I think this episode will be a big bam, because we need to see the gray, the black, the failures in order for the people to succeed, not only about success. So are you ready?
I'm ready for that.
Let's do that. In a nutshell, who's Haitham Kalakesh from your perspective before we start the episode?
I can say that I'm a backup with a lot of experience from a lot of products and environment and from the commercial experience on that. Plus, because I started my journey between GCC, Saudi Arabia and UAE, in the end also moving to Asia, let's say Hong Kong and China from the manufacturing level, we're going to Europe, UK and London and Spain. So frankly speaking, I can say it's a matrix of experience all together make it a backup. So that experience, let's say that it lead me to understand more the business more than the education itself.
I love that, because usually when I come and talk to you and I tell you, like, give me an advice about something, you tell me I'm not going to give you an advice. I'm going to tell you something that happened to me and you adapt it to you. So you're not the type of person that goes and say advices, and you just say what happened to you, how do you see it, and if it's possible that people can adapt it themselves to solve the problem, go ahead. If not, it's fine with you.
Advices is something that you learn it from the books and from the schools or universities, but sometimes these advices is not going to be implemented in real life. So I believe always in reality. I believe something that you have done it, you already have achieved it, and you get the results, maybe output wrong or output right. But in the end of the day, this is what I always tell you. I will not go for an advices. I can tell you from my perspective is good or bad. But in the end of the day, if I gave you a real life that this is bad, it means it's bad. You like it or you don't like it, this is bad. That's it. So real life is the experience. This is the proper territory where you can experience anything in life.
I love that. I want to switch to Riversong. It's an amazing brand. We want to understand, how did this brand came up to your head? What inspired you to create such brand? And especially in an absolutely competitive environment.
If I can give you, as I told you, I can give you a very fantastic storyboard for the social media where I can give you the glamour. But frankly speaking, it was by chance. So it wasn't pre-planned. Nothing, let's say, fantasy on that. In 2016, because I was traveling a lot to China, so I have a lot of experience from the, let's say, the suppliers and white label production lines in China. So they believe that they want to do their own brand because they manufacture for the international brand.
Big brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So China, as you know, this is the world manufacturing, but they don't have the knowledge of how to create a brand, not like USA or even in India style, like the Asian side. So what happened is that they want to create the brand to, let's say, to make the inventory for own products. So here it came the intersection points between me and them, that let's do a proper branding where they understand the development and research and where they understand the inventory, the purchase and that. And from my side, how to penetrate the brand and how I can promote it in the countries. So here it came the intersection and the interest between both parties. So frankly speaking, it wasn't a wow story to say, you know what, we went for strategic planning, no, nothing like that. It was a pre-coincidence where two parties, they are thinking about to do something together. That's it.
Lovely. It didn't scare you? Like entering such a market with such, you know, we're both coming from the same background, pricing wars, the margins, the giants. It's not an easy market to play or an industry to play. So what motivated you to get in?
Again, as I told you in early things, that I'm here to give you the unfiltered truth. So I can give you very lovely words about the inspiration, motivation, but these you can see it in all the social media platforms. So I'm not here for that. So my inspiration, that I was jobless. I think that this is the most this is the most inspiration, motivation exists. So once you have a family and you need an income, a stable income, and you are searching for a job, this is the most inspiration. That the motivation is that you want to make income. So, but I can say that I took the chance and I took the risk that to jump on a startup company where there is no proper income. This is here where I can get, I say that I took the risk. But my inspiration, I was with no job. So this is my inspiration.
And you have responsibilities.
Now that inspiration and motivation continues because I created the discipline. Because in the end of the day, motivation is like heart attack, ups and downs. So you cannot depend to continue with the startup with motivation or inspiration. You need to go for the discipline in the situation.
I love it. If I look at Riversong now, for the audience, what kind of product did Riversong have and plan to have, and what does it differentiate from the other products in the market?
Okay, so let me simplify it as it is. A lot of audience or a lot of people, they think that you need to have a unique product to enter the market. Frankly speaking, you don't need to have a unique product sometimes. You just need to have some space, and that space sometimes it will find you. So when we started Riversong, we started from the mobile accessories business, where the mobile accessories is not, let me give you an example. You know me, I like the example so much. You have the BMW and you have the Audi or the Mercedes cars. When you have your keychain, if you have a BMW, you will not buy a Mercedes keychain, and vice versa. But if you have a BMW, you can buy a Mont Blanc keychain. So you need to have a neutral accessories supported brand to the brand itself, because the brand is the mobile devices.
True.
So for that reason, when we created the mobile accessories from the power department or the powered accessories, which was the cables and the power bank, we tried to enter where we say that this is a neutral brand, that it can be capable and authentic for all the brands,
Okay.
Apple, Samsung, Huawei, Xiaomi, all that. So this is the space we entered.
Mhm.
Then by learning stage and by entering the market, we start implementing with the new technology to enter the smartwatches, the audio product, all that. So this is where we entered. We entered from nowhere. You just need to enter. That's it.
True. So now Riversong has mobile accessories, smartwatches, battery banks, and power.
Okay, so we have all the power supply from the cable, adapter, wall chargers, all that, from going to all the power banks, all that. Plus we have the smartwatches. It's going to be the hype and the category where we are focusing. Plus we have for sure the audio, and we have the IoT. The IoT is going to be from the smart home, from the Wi-Fi, the routers, all that. And plus we are going to launch the tablet with a lifestyle, because in the end of the day now lifestyle is coming very trendy in the market. But we need something value for your purchase. So we needed to go for that. So wherever the wave is coming, we are moving together on that.
I love that. What I see in your hand is this Riversong.
Yes, this is the Motive series.
Wow.
This is the Pro one. So because in the end of the day, if you really want to promote something, you at least you need to be aware of what is the product.
True.
So frankly speaking, one of our strengths is our knowledge from the product. I like to work sport. My wife, my family, my kids, all are sportive like you. So we can understand what kind of Fitbit, Amazfit, Apple watches, Samsung watches. We know these trends. So we don't need to invent the wheel. We can push it. We can take it, elaborate it, go for the reversal technology until we find it on the right price to enter the value.
It's very interesting because you have a huge philosophy about affordability. Like, if you want like Apple, just go buy Apple, doesn't matter. So 100%. I want you to elaborate on this. We spoke about this a lot of time.
Look, in the end of the day, we are speaking every day, frankly speaking. We talk like 20, 30 times per day. But there is no loyalty for brands except Apple exists. So sorry for Samsung, sorry for Huawei or Xiaomi, frankly speaking, there is no loyalty anymore. Only Apple who has the loyalty of the brand of the Apple. People, consumer who buy Apple, they buy Apple just for Apple. They don't buy it from a specification level.
True.
Specs not exist. Sometimes Apple reduce the battery. Sometimes they reduce something and the people doesn't know that. So to say that there is a loyalty, there is no loyalty, except certain level of a brand exists. Now we move on. When we created Riversong, we tried as much as we can to push the value of your purchase, to give you the best knowledge, the best technology, comparing to the purchase and the price level. We are not here to tell you that I'm competing Apple or we are competing Samsung. I can tell you, no, we are competing ourselves, but frankly speaking, it does not exist. They have the proper big development and research. They have billions of dollars. So we don't have the billions of dollars. But I can tell you, if someone is searching for something and has a value of some equivalent amount and he doesn't care about the brand labeling, I believe Riversong, it can be stand out as a top brand that it can be purchased. Simple as it is.
Wow. Haitham, another thing, like any new market entrant, you're not new, Riversong is not new, but at the time when you were entering, a lot of entrepreneurs have the ambitions to compete with the giants. Did it come to your mind that I will compete with Samsung, I will compete with Apple, or it didn't come? And if yes, what were the strategies to compete with such? That's billions of dollars of marketing support, R&D support, and all these things.
It's like the elephant and the bird story, frankly speaking. Competing with the giants, it's almost impossible and possible through the penetration itself. You know that I'm a CEO of Riversong and I'm like independent director for multiple companies where they are a startup. This kind of ambitions sometimes it burn themselves, because these big brands and giants, they have, let's say, indefinite amount on capital and investment that they can burn anybody next to you.
True.
So you don't need to compete with them. As I told you, every single country has his own space. When you have a restaurant, Michelin starred, Gordon Ramsay restaurant in London, in Soho Street, for example, with 3 stars, you can get your mom or your grandmother recipe and you make an authentic restaurant with a very, very boho style. It means that there is no furniture.
True.
Boho, because customers like to name it like boho now.
Yeah.
But boho, it means that there is no investment.
Yeah.
That's
True.
it. With your mom recipe, and you can compete Gordon Ramsay 5 stars Michelin restaurant.
Next to you.
So frankly speaking, now client and social media it become vibe so much that you don't need to spend millions of dollars. You just need to find the penetration and the product itself. If it's food, the best recipe. If it's a product, you can give the value of that. So you don't need to compete the dinosaurs. And too many companies, corporate, they start to compete, or they want to take the market share of Samsung or Apple, as you said, and they brought executives from them. Frankly speaking, they don't know what they are doing. They are shooting themselves, not in their legs, but I believe in their head.
Right away.
Directly.
I love that, because I will move to the next level of question. You're building a tech company at the end of the day. And when it comes to building tech companies, means funding, investments, all these big things. How did you manage that?
Okay, this is always a big story and big circle to talk about. But in the end of the day, when you do the startup, it's called startup. It's called startup. It means when you say a villa, it means a villa. And when you say a studio, it means a studio. So the capital and the investment, it should be proportion on what you are doing. Startup, it means that less volume, less team, everything is less.
Yeah.
So the investment that you are looking for is not something glamour. It's not something with 6, 7, 8 figures. So you need to scale it once you start. It means when I started Riversong with the startup, as you said, we started as a proof of concept in one country. You need to understand the country, you need to understand the product, and then you don't need to go for 50, 60 products. I started with 2, 3 power banks, 3, 4, 5 cables, and 1 trusted partners, and we started from that point. So the investment, it's not big, it's not small, but at least to start. Once you have the proof of concept, you need to add on, you need to top it. Once you have that proof, you have a lot of instrument to add the capital. Because people think about the investment before even the product, before even the idea.
True.
From where I will get the money. Do you know how much you want? No. Do you know how much you want to spend? Nothing. So frankly speaking, push the wheel, and then it will be
The
accumulated.
investment will come easier. Haitham, you always talk about culture, teams, the value of the team, how you empower the team. Why it's important to you?
Okay, so my little bit philosophy is it's like it came from 2 schools. School number 1 from startup, you don't give any authority to your team, frankly speaking. I'm not big pragmatic with that because it's a startup. It's depend on one idea, creative idea. It depends on your personality, on your experience. So you cannot empower the team directly. You can empower them to execute.
Okay.
So, but empowering in early stage, it means that it's not going to be your recipe. It's not going to be your idea. Same, you are, as I said, your mom recipe, and you brought a chef and he changed it to Lebanese cuisine. He changed it to add a curry, something in the spaghetti level. So you cannot change it in the early stage. So you should be in the 2 stages. Stage number 1, you believe on yourself, you believe of what you have, your experience and the product, and you bring the A team. It's not about the team, it's about the A team. It means you need to find and search the proper Marvel team. Superman, Spider-Man, and Batman. You don't need the 10 million soldiers.
True.
You just need the 3. You see Marvel's movies, it's about 1 or 2, 3 people. And then once you start scaling your business, and then in that time, you have a point where you convert it for a structure company. Once it's coming on structure, here you start empowering. Once you have the structure, the guideline, the system, the ERP things, where you move it. But from day 1, nope. It's about your instinct and nothing else.
So you mean like in the first phase, delegation is very hard?
100%.
And it's not good to do a delegation in the first
At
phase.
all.
And in the phase 2, you delegate, you create the system and the structures. I love this approach. Because before, had like kind of connection with a particular company that we did a kind of a business with, where the culture over there was extremely fearful. So there is a difference between being fearful and being hands-on. So the fearful culture, the one that we had at that kind of engagement, showed that the people around, because at our era now, a lot of generations work together, like the old, the young, all these work together. Do you believe that this kind of fear or control or management by fear is helpful for building a startup, or just to have a hands-on and let people do the job?
Frankly speaking, I know what you are referring of, but let me take it from a different perspective. Fear environment, it means that unexperienced executive, that they don't have the experience and they don't know what they are doing. Only they are shouting because they don't know what command they are doing. And they are hoping that these commands can lead for a results. Loyalty, yes. This is the most, let's say, better word to go for that. Loyalty is not from the loyal for the company itself, loyalty for the business itself, loyalty for the idea itself. If your team is not a proper understanding what you are going to do, because you are going for a startup, so he is going to, let's say, sacrifice with a lot of incomes. Because in the end of the day, as a startup, you cannot give him goals, minds, income. So he need to understand why he's sacrificing, why he want to spend 20 hours per day in the job, why he's a head of marketing and he need to work in sales, why he want to answer the phone as a reception, why he need to clean with me the floor because we don't have a maid for that. So if he doesn't understand that, whatever fear or shout is happening, nothing will lead the results, nothing. Same what happened to us before.
True. Haitham, we've seen a lot of new entrants to the tech market, consumer electronics specifically. A lot of new entrants. And in different countries where sanctions happened, new brands appear just to enter to eat the market share. What is the most common mistakes that you see these new entrants are trying to do, or they did, in order to capture a market share or even enter the market, become, I'm not going to say dominant, but present in the market?
Let me say it in that way, hiring the C executive people from the international brands, from Samsung and Nokia, and they think that they create the startup. And startup is the product. It's not the executive. Executive is executive, product is product. So these people doesn't understand even the mythology of the startup. It doesn't need about the executive. When you hire a lot of executive from the international brand, you only have executive, nothing else. You need to create the brand, you need to create the product. And brand is not the logo, it's not the design, it's not the website, as everybody is spending their time, wasting their knowledge and wasting their experience to do it. Whatever you do in the logos, brand, all that, you create a flyer. You don't need to waste my time, waste your time to do a flyer. Let the team do that. You need to create the essential of the business. The essential of the startup is the product. You don't waste your energy, your time, just pursuing that if I got a C-level executive person, he will lead the ship. No, because you have a boat. You don't have a Titanic boat.
True. Haitham, since we're in the era of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, based on you, what do you think are the traits that makes a proper entrepreneur?
You know, I have seen in the past 5 years from the social platform that everybody is looking for an entrepreneur badge. It became like a badge as a title. It's like, for example, this is what I'm afraid and this is what I want to say. When you are a broker and success broker or a sales manager or marketing manager and you are success, it doesn't mean that you failed, or it doesn't mean that you need to add a badge in your social media that you are an entrepreneur broker, an entrepreneur sales manager. It became like somebody took a PhD on that. So just because this is the social media situation, entrepreneur, it means that somebody is going from out of income with zero income and going with a proper idea, whatever the idea, from another product, and with a high percent of risk, of 100% risk of failure. This is entrepreneur, and solving problem every single hour. So now the trend is the entrepreneur became a badge. I'm a broker entrepreneur. what does mean?
Yeah,
You
true.
are a broker, you are a sales manager.
Mm.
You can be succeeded on that, but you don't need to be entrepreneur.
But what are the traits now you see? Like, you can work in corporate, better be in corporate, or you can handle things on your own, especially in the starting phase. What are this
Personally, one of the big advantage by era came to me that I didn't start as an entrepreneur. And I believe that if I started as an entrepreneur, I will have a big failure. Because you will have the excitement, as you said, and the motivation with no proper tooling, nothing. So my experience and all this knowledge happened between the establishment, corporation with different countries. Here it lead us to gain and to make my startup and to make my entrepreneurship. So frankly speaking, for example, for my son and my daughter, I never tell them go for entrepreneurship in the early stage. Take the proper learning from real life. Go
with zero investment.
Go and get some business work as below people who understand what they are doing in some organization where the system happening, and then you start understanding maybe after 5 years, 7 years, 10 years even. But if you are telling me no, but I have a very cool unique idea as an entrepreneur, then go with it. But this is 1 over 1,000.
True.
But the other 999 people, they can be succeeded in their workflow environment. So the threat is everybody is going to be an entrepreneur because they believe that entrepreneur, it means free time, good cars, good apartment,
True,
and
traveling
around the world. Frankly speaking, no, you can find a job to do that. You don't need to be an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
Maybe you don't have the way to be entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, it means that you need to have problems every single minute. You have to be ready to solve these problems. That's it.
I love it. We have a common friend, kinda, when he was an entrepreneur, wasn't super successful. In corporate, became super successful, and the life is good, the freedom, the. I'll go to an interesting question. I think a lot of people would like to get your opinion on it. We have a startup and we have a corporation. What's the difference between both?
Whoa, it's like day and night, frankly speaking. It's like the moon and the sun, because it's a completely different structure. I work in the corporate, I worked even with the startup, small startup, and I work with my startup. So frankly speaking, corporation is an organization where the metrics and approval is happening from A to Z. In a startup and entrepreneurship, if you want to name it like that, there is no structure, there is nothing. It's like maneuver. It's like you are playing boxing and you are dancing.
Yeah.
So you can change your rules and the guideline, and you can change even the command per hour, per day. Even you cannot lose the day. In corporation, you cannot do that, because in the end of the day, this is the results. So if someone wants to manage the startup as a corporate, he can have a big accident. It's like taking the car on 200 kilometers per hour with no proper guideline. This is the entrepreneur. It means that you need to just push the wheel and move faster with your instinct and your experience, nothing else.
I love how you explained, Haitham. You mentioned in the changes of phases, the type of people and the type of command or leadership you will have. In the startup phase, hands-on, going through, driving, and then in the next phase, you delegate. A lot of people hate hiring. One of the toughest things, and a lot of executives or entrepreneurs or leaders try to step back from this role because it's not an easy role. How do you hire people in your organization?
As a startup?
As a startup and as after a startup.
Because there's two way.
Yeah.
As a startup, every single hiring should be from the guy who's responsible as a manager. Let's say me. Every startup, every hiring, I did it by myself. From small role to big role, because in the end of the day, it's my philosophy, the product philosophy. So you need to make sure that the hiring is correct, because frankly speaking, you cannot take any single losses, because wrong hiring, it means loses money. True. And loses of timing. So in early stage, you need to hire by yourself, by your creativity, by your instinct on that. Once you go for the second stage where your structure become more organized, here the HR department will happening, here the talent acquisition will happening, but you need to move it from the second round. But the first round always is by you. Everything is by you. You need to get the calls, you need to answer the emails, and you need to find the product. This is the entrepreneur.
I'll dig more. What are the qualities you're looking at for the people that you hire? Forget about the skills, but what is important for Haitham? That the qualities.
Frankly speaking, I try to bring, because I know what is entrepreneur. So I need all my people in early stage as phase one, that they want to taste the entrepreneurship level. So anyone hate the environment of the workflow and the corporation, he's my target, frankly speaking. Who like to stay at home or coming in at office from 8 to 5, this is not my target. So I can filter it as a criteria from a very early stage. So if I ask one guy, or any in the business interview or any interview, I ask him, what is your next year's 10 years, and he told me that he want to stay and he want to promote himself for another, let's say, higher role.
Senior manager.
This is not my target. My target always who's telling me that I have a belief that I want to be an entrepreneur. Here I can give him my platform to be an entrepreneur with me. So this is my targets. My target doesn't want to stay at office only just for a couple of hours and go. I want someone who treat the company and the startup as his own. Here I can say these are my people. This is my A team.
What do you see these days wrong about entrepreneurship? A misconception that like entrepreneurship is like greeny, everything is money here and there, and the real thing is what?
Real things is that the money here and there, because only the social media are presenting only the good stories, because people like to see the good stories. They don't have the good story at home, so they want to see it in the TV or on the screen. So this is why you see, yes, you have a lot of success, but in the end of the day, every one success you have 1,000 failure. The 999 you cannot see it.
True.
So frankly speaking, entrepreneur, let me take it from my way. Even when I say I succeeded or someone succeeded, it doesn't mean that he succeeded 100%. It means he succeeded only 2 months in a year. It means that the other 10 months or failure. For me, as today, I can say only 20% of my outcome is succeeded, and the 80 is failure. You tell me, but this is a wrong calculation. No, frankly speaking, it's good results. In the end of the day, when you close your year, it should be positive sum, nothing else. So if you are telling me it's a greenish, I can tell you yes and no, but frankly speaking, when you reach somewhere that you can control your time and you can sit wherever you want to make your business goal, it means that you are a succeeded entrepreneur. When you sit in the coffee shop and you say, I don't want to go to office and I have my role to do that, I can say that you became succeeded.
I love that. Haitham, we live in an era of AI. ChatGPT and plus. Couple of things. One of them is, again, we were engaging with a particular company and brand where I believe that the whole operation of the company was running on not AI, but particularly ChatGPT of AI. That led to a level that I thought it's better to replace that kind of individual with a server rather than having that guy as a leader to lead this kind of corporations. So I want to get your take on having such reliance on AI running an organization, and in general, where do you see AI in the tech industry?
Okay, let me first tell you something. On AI, in the end of the day, AI is taking all the searching from whatever reference exists in the search engine.
True.
It means AI is not giving you an answer. It's giving you accumulated search exists from human history. It means that it can give you a bad or a good outcome. I can understand the AI as a fantastic tool if it can be supportive tool. But in the end of the day, you need your emotions and your instinct. In the end of the day, AI cannot give you that. It can give you the right data, raw material data. You need to filter it, you need to see it, you need to adapt it, and you need to smell it. Because in the end of the day, you need to understand that culture. It's a human culture.
True.
Once you launch your startup, AI can give you a fantastic presentation, database, data situation that it can lead you for proper analysis. But Seif, in the end of the day, whatever analysis, whatever SWOT analysis, we do it in the proper startup, because everybody will tell you do the SWOT analysis, check it, search it, Google, all that. I can guarantee you 99% in real life, nothing will occur. Every day you have something else. AI cannot, he didn't told us that COVID happened in 2020. AI cannot tell us that we had a Levant war zone,
True.
Eastern Europe war zone, we have a crypto situation, we have economic factors, we have all that. These factors, you need a human command where he has this aggressiveness and he has the knowledge to maneuver it. Yes, a nice presentation, a good PowerPoint, as you said in the past other experience, it will be fantastic AI tool. As today, it's a human knowledge.
And it needs the leader or the entrepreneur to interpret this kind of knowledge and make decisions based on it.
Without the human entrepreneur and knowledge and the leader on the front, there is no team. Team can can shoot themselves. But in the end of the day, they can shoot themselves. So you need someone who prepare that dance. He need to maneuver it. He need to be the maestro, or the music will be a completely buzz. So you need the maestro. Who's the maestro? He's the leader. He's the guy who understands what he wants to do. And if he doesn't know what he wants to do and he's taking all these from AI, it means that he doesn't know what he's doing.
True. Haitham, let's say somebody now watched the episode and said like, oh my God, I have a passion towards consumer electronics. I want to build a brand. What is the single advice you would give him?
Single advice to give, first of all, as I told you, does he has the experience of the structure, organization structure? Does he has a 10 years, 15 years of the big brands? Does he have the knowledge of the product? And number 3, can he take the risk of to be with zero income for a certain time of period? Neither the AI, neither Google search, neither nobody, either his father or his mother know when he will get the income. If he has that ability, I believe that not he can do it, he can try it. Do it or getting the results, it's a very long shot. But the ability to try, everybody has the ability to try. But more and more to reach the target where you can succeed it, you need more points to get it. It's like a bonus points. Every bonus points can count.
Can add to your success.
Yes, 100%.
In the previous, I would say like years behind you and your journey, and if I ask you what was your favorite failure to date, a failure that you're grateful for, what would be that?
Again, in social media, always the introduction or any success gentleman, he will tell you, I started with $200 in my pocket. I started with $300 in my pocket. I started from the car. I started from the garage. It gives you the motivation and the ambition to watch the YouTube and how become the before and after. Everybody like the before and after. Frankly speaking, my biggest failure is my today, everyday failure. I have every day a failures that, let's say I have 10 things in today tasks, 8 is failed. So my daily failure is my achievement, because every time I failed, I corrected. Once I corrected fast, this is the startup and this is again the entrepreneur, that you need to have a fast call to correct, then you gain. But biggest failure, I can tell you, okay, I started with $100 with my pocket if you want, as others, or I started from my garage, so which is fine. But in the end of the day, let's say Amazon, he started from his garage, but with his father $5 million. Jack Ma, he started Alibaba, but he took the exclusivity for the entire China for the 50 years. So frankly speaking, there's a good motivation for the social media. But in real life, failure is your companion, is your friend every single day. So you need to use it. And use it to correct your path, nothing else.
I love it because failure is not a defeat. It's something that you learn from and you move forward, because a lot of people take it as a defeat and they're done. Let me flip the coin. Then what is the proudest moment to date for you?
Proudest moment is that I can do the interview on the podcast today and I don't need to look to my notification that something is happening. I can sit in the coffee shop, think about what I'm going to do tomorrow. So once you own your time, you feel that you have succeeded. So it doesn't need to be what kind of car you have or what kind of watch you have. Frankly speaking, you can have a fantastic car, but you don't have the time to drive
enjoy it.
You
True.
don't have the time to do anything. I have the time to enjoy and to sit with my wife, to go see my children, and to talk with you, and to watch whatever I want. Once you have that legacy, it means that you succeeded.
If I ask you, what is next then for Riversong?
Okay, so there is no back and there is no forward. It's only play button. This is what I like. It's a play. There is no pause. There is no forward. There is no back. In life, because time is moving, so you need to continue with that.
The play.
So we adapt, we manipulate, we understand the product, we move forward. So we are, as I told you, we started with, let's say, with the low-end value consumer. We are integrated, we are increasing. Now we are pushing more technology, we are adding more team, and we are expanding in other countries. Now we are moving from GCC, Levant, North Africa, and we are moving to Europe, and we are moving to Asia side. We are launching in Vietnam, Indonesia, all that. So frankly speaking, it's accumulation by time. So you just need to continue your journey.
Play the game.
That's it.
Infinite
You are
playground.
sitting in the train with the speed now. We are in the high speed of 350, let's say, kilometer per hour. You continue the journey and you focus with it. That's it. You don't need always to think. Thinking now become a discipline that you need to work as a workflow. This is why it's called workflow.
True. We are in the Alpha Talks show, and there is a nugget question. This nugget question is, how do you define an alpha?
Alpha, for me, he can solve the problems in insect level. It means who understand how to solve the problem without the why question. I hate the why question. Why this happening? It happened. Why this? This. So once you understand that your brain doesn't see the why as making the solution directly, there is no blame, you are the alpha person. But if you are asking yourself how, and you want to look for who's responsible about this problem, it means that you are not an alpha. You are only a troublemaker. You want to show to see who's the responsible between the problems. That's it. Just find the solution, later rebuild it. That's it.
First time to get this answer. We have a section called the Alpha Quick Fire.
Yep.
So I'm gonna ask you quick questions that needs quick answers.
Okay.
So what's one word that describes Riversong?
Affordability.
What's the biggest lesson from building Riversong?
Enjoy your time.
What's the single most important tactic for going up against industry giant?
Maneuver.
Who's an entrepreneur you look up to?
No one, because I can give you 100 names, but frankly speaking, it depends where you are sitting, where you are living. So I can be your entrepreneur, but you have in different region, it can be failed.
True. What's your superpower as a leader?
Fast reaction and solve the problem without the why question.
One skill every tech entrepreneur should master.
The product that he's going to launch, frankly speaking. He need to understand what he's going to do.
True. What's the gadget? One gadget you can't live without.
My earpods.
I know that. Biggest lesson from working in both retail and production.
There is a big margins between the inventory or the purchase to the retail prices. So frankly speaking, where the customer is saying that some the brands are making 1000%, it's true.
It's true. Most surprising thing you've learned about yourself as a leader?
Patience.
Another section which I ask you, the best ever alpha advice you've ever received.
Again, I can say that really I need to be prepared for the failure 100 times, 200 times, 300 times, and these failures is accumulation for the sum to make the results.
The success.
That's it.
Be ready to fail.
That's it.
The alpha choices, I'll ask you two things and you have to choose one. Quality or affordability?
Affordability.
Team management or innovation?
Team management.
Global reach or niche market?
Niche.
Command and control or empower?
Phase 1, command and control. Phase 2 is empower.
Digital marketing or word of mouth?
Digital marketing.
Pushing high profit niche or high volume markets?
It's depend on the phases. Phase 1, high volume, then you go for the niche in this second phase.
Focusing on customer loyalty or attracting new customers?
There is no customer loyalty for the 70-80% from the brand. It's always as a new customers and pushing for the prices. So new customers until you have the loyalty, which is not exist now in our real life.
What will be the last message you want to leave the audience with today?
The message that you can be success if you are a good doctor, sales manager, sales representative, a broker with no title of entrepreneur. The message is that everybody will tell you that I started from $100, $200, $300, and then I became success with the billions of dollars of money. Frankly speaking, nobody knows the truth. Nobody, if his father, his friend, his bank, or even he's sitting in USA with very lowest interest rate to get the investment properly. Mm-hmm. So the culture and the environment is sometimes will push you to be an entrepreneur or to be success. So whatever you have the way to be succeeded, do it. And you doesn't need to be an entrepreneur to do that. That's it. You just enjoy it.
Wow. Haitham, we have a section in the Alpha Talks called the Alpha Talks Memoir, where the Alpha guest has to do a couple of things. The first one is to write their experience in the show, and the next one is to write a question to the next Alpha guest. It's a way of Alpha guests communicating to each other. They're not knowing who is writing to who, which means that you need to answer a question from the previous Alpha guest. So are you ready?
Yes.
We don't know what's the question, but what was the one incident that changed your life?
I believe that I don't want to say it from the business perspective, but I can say that it's a personal. It's my wife's sickness. I can say that it changed my life and it let me lead to enjoy the time more than the business itself.
Wow.
This is something I can say.
True. If people watching us now and want to get in touch with you, buy Riversong products, what is the easiest way to get in touch?
I'm a big believer on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not from the personal social media because all my personal social media for my wife and kids, and only LinkedIn is my wall.
He created a question now. So I'll put in the description the LinkedIn link for your profile and actually the website of Riversong for people to look at the product range. But comes the question that popped up. Why you're not on social media? Why are you not making the videos and all this stuff?
I don't believe that the consumer want to see one more success, frankly speaking, because they see it a lot. Even me, I see it every single row. I can see it in social media, and I don't believe that I have the wow story to present. I have some experience, I have something to tell, but this is not the story that I want to tell. And frankly speaking, I want the story to enjoy by myself. I achieved whatever I achieved for myself. I'm not big fan to show these to the fan because this is for me. It's not for fun.
True. Haitham, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. I'm sure people watching this episode will get a lot of knowledge, raw, authentic. You won't see it anywhere else. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for your time, Seif. Thank you.
That wraps another inspiring episode of today's show. I hope that this episode has ignited your inner alpha and left you feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to conquer any challenge that comes your way. Remember, alphas aren't born, they're made. It isn't about dominating others, it's about embracing your authenticity, leading with integrity, and making a positive impact on the world. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the Alpha Talks on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review and share the podcast with your fellow alphas. Also connect with us on social media at Seif El Hakim. Share your thoughts, insight, and stories of personal and business growth with us. Let's create a movement of alphas supporting one another. The world needs more alphas like you exactly. Until next time, stay bold, stay driven, and stay alpha.